The Belleville Area District Library Board will come to order and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now, actually our secretary is here. So for the next item, I will gladly call on Alma Hughes Grubbs, and we've got our whole
Did you
complement.
get her a packet? Oh,
Yeah, Joy has excused absence. You remember she is on her retirement trip. Our buddy Joy, that one is
Well deserved.
okay. And so we've got a good full house. Hi, Tanya, glad you're here. And we are just about to have the roll call. Alma?
To have us excused. Fleming,
Here.
Jackson Smith, here. Peters,
Here?
Priest,
here.
Stottlemyre,
Here.
Hughes Grubbs, present.
We have a quorum and we wish our colleague Joy great times of it in her absence. She deserves her retirement time. Our item now is to approve the agenda. And then we will be talking about the meeting minutes. And in both, I want us to do have some consideration. Because the agenda, I also, I am going to recirculate the committee assignments. My right hand is on my right hand. Linda is helping me. The committee assignments, we just have to adjust both the agenda and the minutes for the committee assignments of this year. And so as we approve the agenda, I just wanted to point out that the marketing committee was renamed the outreach committee, and Maria Jackson Smith has agreed to chair that. And she's chairing the bylaws committee as well. So when we go down the list of who is to report, that is a change on the agenda. And so I will entertain a motion. First I will entertain a motion about the agenda.
My motion of the agenda as correct.
With the corrections of the,
I will second.
okay. And the corrections being that the item D is the outreach committee and chaired by Jackson Smith. See, she's our latest, and we put her to work here and there. She's got a couple of committees. So with that, are there any other comments about the agenda? Before we vote, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, but signify by saying nay. There are no negative votes. The agenda as corrected is approved. Next item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes. And we could move them and then I'll speak to what I had to say. Or I'll speak to it. Good.
I move that we approve the meeting minutes from February 11th. 2020. One second.
It's been moved by Priest and seconded by Stottlemyre that the minutes for February 11th be approved. The only item is in item 7, committee reports. It indicates that I passed out the committee assignment sheet, and it indicates the change from the marketing to the outreach committee, but it does not indicate the change of, Maria Jackson Smith in the art committee. And
The bylaw.
the bylaws committee she has up here. That
Here
we-
on 7,
oh,
here.
Isn't she going in there?
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it does,
She'll be
it has to
head of
be
bylaws.
corrected for the
Yeah.
bylaws.
Oh, I'll be head of bylaws.
So I'm gonna be.
Yes, my dear.
Okay, so
Wait a
Linda was
minute,
gonna-
no, I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
You won't wanna be.
I'm sorry. No, I'm making more
Yeah,
changes.
she's just
than
gonna
there
be
were.
on the.
So the only, yeah, they're, the only thing, so the bylaws committee is corrected the way that it is in the minutes currently. And the marketing and outreach committee is corrected the way it's in the minutes. And is there and the only art committee, I guess the only other addition then is that the art committee would include Maria.
Yes.
Okay.
And the building committee includes Dan. So, yeah, that's what I would like is for the differences, the changes from last year to all be reflected in the minutes, or we could skip that little piece and just deduct those little 2 bullet points and go on to the reports and go on our merry way, because you did already say that I updated the committee assignment sheet. So it's up to you guys. But what do you, I don't know. If everybody has a list and we all understand what committees we serve on, then I think the easiest thing was that well, there's nothing wrong with what's already in here. It's
Right.
just that the rest of those changes aren't in there.
We can put a note in today's minutes that's notes that
I
Maria
wanted to,
Jackson Smith is
yeah, we could put a note that she is
not on there, really.
in the art committee and Dan is on the building committee.
Weren't you on the building committee before? Oh, maybe not.
No,
But
no,
I seen
John
it last
always,
week, and I thought,
John
okay.
always was.
Okay, so, and Dan on the building committee, so we could just make a note.
Okay, that's why we need Mary Jo to be at our meeting. Something. So we don't have to actually amend anything, because there's really nothing wrong here, it's just a couple of omissions. Right? Is that what it is? We can vote these minutes and then put a little note in the next.
I think that would work. Okay,
Alrighty, I just want to make sure everybody knows that this is a new year and different people are doing different things and we're all excited.
and next time we'll put C attached.
Well, yeah, when I first looked at it, I couldn't remember what all the changes, then I had to dig up where this list was. Anyway, I get myself all confused. But the rest of you are clear-headed, so we're in good shape. So there's a motion and a second on the floor about the minutes. And we're very pleased with the minutes. Is there anything else in the minutes that anybody else sees that they want to talk about? We had a really good meeting. Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes from February 11th, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by saying no. There are no negative votes. So we are on to public comment, and we do have some members of the public. Barbara?
I'm Barbara Miller and I serve on the DIA Art Authority, which is a committee appointed by the county to monitor the spending of our 0.20 mills. And there are 3 major areas: community service, community groups, schools, and seniors. And we're trying to get the information about the services of the DIA and its various programs out to the communities. At Monday's meeting, I again said that it very often in communities, the librarian is very key to reaching out to groups and knowing groups and responding to leadership and things like that, and that we had a particularly good librarian, Mary Jo. So the DIA is willing to have a county-wide invitation to all librarians to come to the DIA to educate them as to the DIA services. And in particular, Julie McFarland, who is the Executive Director of Community Outreach or something close to that. And she would like to have a meeting because I have spoken of Mary Jo often and in high praise. She would like to meet with Mary Jo and I to discuss the kind of event they'll put together that would best instruct and educate the librarians.
About the DIA. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. We also have in our public, our founding, one of our founding members, John Juriga, weren't you on the first district library board?
Remind me, Mary Jo.
Pretty close to it.
Anyway, we are very happy to have you here and we would just be honored to hear you say something.
It's all good to see you all. So thank you.
And that's all?
That's it.
Well, there you go.
No words of wisdom?
Not yet.
Not yet. We may not have heard everything from him yet. So thank you. Rosemary, you have anything to enlighten us with today? Then we go on to our committee reports, and we know who our committees are. And so I will start with the building committee with this Joy, and that's actually the committee that we have some things to do. But Joy isn't here. I'm an ex officio member of that committee, and Linda and Dan are on that committee. So this is something because that committee probably was the committee that met the most and worked, and John did come today to tell us how many hours of meetings we logged. But now the building committee doesn't meet except as necessary, and we tend to discuss their items in the committee of the whole, which is what we'll do today. We've talked about this before. We have a contract to install vape detectors, which the staff is very happy that we're doing. We're all very happy that we're doing. We've found that we have a very active group of people in here, especially young people after school, and we just want to make sure everything works out well for everybody. So Mary Jo, maybe you can tell us about this, and then everybody else can comment if they need to.
Quite some time ago, the building committee agreed that this would be a good thing to move forward with. So I have a quote from O'Neill Construction to install vape detectors in all of the public restrooms. This will detect if someone is vaping marijuana, vaping other substances. And this has been a chronic problem that we've had in the past. In order to accomplish this, we have a quote of $10,301. There's info in your board pack that goes into detail about the product.
There's quite a bit of interesting background material about the product.
And I will say one of our monitors asked me very recently if we're still going to be working on getting vape detectors, and I told her the board was going to vote on it this evening, and she said, "Oh, good."
So what happens when someone is vaping? What's the alert?
For this, It can alert to, we can have apps on our phones, it can be an alert to an email, it can be a.
Is it a
I don't
buzzer?
know, I don't know what it does in the actual bathrooms,
okay.
we could probably set it to do it however we want.
Because you might want a sign or something that says, if you're vaping.
We're,
there's going
we're
to be
gonna put, we're
alarm
gonna
going
put some,
off,
yeah, we're gonna
or-
put some warnings.
That'd be a
Yeah.
deterrent right there.
Yeah, and we're hoping that, we're hoping for the deterrent value of this, that
Yeah,
once
right.
people realize.
You don't want to catch anybody, so they know it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Good.
Or even find yourself in a situation where you walk in and they're right in the middle of it, because then
Yeah.
Mhm.
what do you do then?
Well, you're not supposed to be doing.
Well,
that.
I understand that, but
We've had that,
We-
No, I mean,
we've had
So
that
you actually
experience.
have
They
to
have to leave, yeah,
yeah.
kick
Yeah.
people out.
yeah.
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 Not many
Is there-
conversations with it,
No.
are they pretty compliant when that
Yeah, they
happens?
know they're,
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good.
Is there any concern with the vape? I mean, I'm assuming it's some kind of a modified smoke detector.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If somebody were to hear, I mean, I'm assuming, I'm making some assumptions, hear the alarm go off,
Yeah.
would they inadvertently go and pull a fire alarm to evacuate the library? Or is there gonna be some rules around what's gonna happen once
Yeah,
this has been detected?
that's why it's probably not an alarm. It's probably what you said, app or something.
Yeah,
well,
and
it's
maybe so.
gonna be I mean, it'll probably be
Yeah.
something that's very apparent that it's not a smoke alarm.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And-
I'm just trying to think forward. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what.
A voice that comes out of this guy that says, stop.
Yeah,
vaping."
stop.
We're caught you.
I mean, I'm wondering if you could actually hear it inside of the restrooms,
Well, I guess we don't even know if it's an alarm yet, right? I mean, it just could go off
Well, I'm
on
sure-
somebody's phone.
I'm sure we can have it set however we wanna set it.
Okay.
There's a lot of, a lot of.
Well, least invasive, you know,
Yeah.
it's gonna bother anybody. You don't want to bother other
Right.
patrons.
Yeah.
You just want to go and say, you
Schools
can't
are-
do
yeah,
that. you
schools
have to
are-
leave.
Schools use this, they're very successful using it, so,
Okay,
yeah,
So they've thought this through.
yeah.
well, it'll be interesting to see. I guess
Yeah,
how it's programmed and I guess what policies,
Right, and we'll have to work through it on our own.
what
Yeah.
policies are put forth once we detect. Somebody that's doing that.
this is another thing that we didn't know about when we were building the building. We were trying to build a building and hoping that our young people would come. And they have come, but
Here it
we
is.
have learned many of the things
Apple
that,
cart.
things that we have to do. So this is another, I kind of look at it as successful that we have.
And the majority,
people in here.
the majority of young people do not vape in our
No,
bathrooms.
right.
I mean, there's.
Yeah.
kids.
It's just a few.
Yeah.
There's gonna be one or two bad.
We've had to expel a few people from the library.
I was gonna ask that.
We banned them
Have
for a
you had
period.
personally any situation where maybe a patron, like a student or even an adult has been combative with you? Where you felt your safety was at risk?
No.
Good.
Mary Jo's pretty unflappable as well.
Good.
That's why the lower key
We
you
have, a
are.
couple years ago, we did have someone that we trespassed who was an adult who I think was mentally ill and I think he knocked over something at the checkout desk and was kind of threatening and
Well,
my staff person felt threatened.
It's good to know
Yeah.
that's not a major.
But it's not
Yeah, good.
generally, no.
That's
But
why-
we are a public building.
Yeah.
You never know what can happen in a public
Yeah.
building, so.
That's why a sign is good first.
Mhm.
No vaping. If you vape, there will be an alarm, but it will be detected or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's the first line.
I mean, I'm not opposed.
Probably that'll take care of it.
And my staff, I mean, we looked at, we do de-escalation training videos and things like that, so.
Excellent. We've had, this discussion a few times in anticipation of getting these, and now we actually have them and we can vote. We're voting on tonight. We're looking for approval of the board for this purchase, so we can entertain a motion to complete this.
And this is just in the bathrooms, Mary Jo? I mean, if we don't have
This
any
is-
issues
we
of
don't-
it anywhere else going on.
Not really, if we discover, especially if we put this in and then we discover everybody's trying to vape over in the corner,
Right,
we can add, I think we can add to this system very easily.
you can
Yeah.
expand it in some way.
Yeah.
Expand it.
I'd like to make a motion that we install vape protection in the 6 public restroom locations.
O'Neill Construction.
At a price of $10,301.
I second that.
It has been moved by Stoudemire and supported by Priest that we move forward on the vape detection, purchase and installation, based on this proposal.
Do you know
All
how
those-
long that, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
How
no,
long will it take before, when they get this and then they have okay, no, thanks.
And the recurring fee is reasonable. I see
Oh,
it's
yeah.
$75 for each.
Yeah.
6.
that's how our treasurer reads things.
That's important.
All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by saying nay. The ayes have it unanimously tonight, and we are finished. That's the one item we have to act on in our committee reports. And now we can go on to the other committee reports. Our bylaws committee, Maria.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other committee that you chair. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that would be Linda, right?
Oh, that, the bylaws committee is supposed to be Lynn's, under, that was the thing,
She's the chair of the outreach.
that was another thing we were supposed to be fixing in the agenda when we approved.
Get this.
We need a team here.
Yeah.
We require a team. Linda, bylaws committee, Linda Priest. See, John, when you leave, we get all confused as to what to do with your committee. That you had so many reports on. Linda?
No report.
Yeah, you're learning from John. Finance. Yes, Tanya has no report at this time. And then outreach, that's the one that we fixed, outreach, and that's Maria.
Yes, no report at this.
Okay, and personnel, Linda,
No report.
and policy, Dan.
No report.
And our art committee, we had a very thorough report last time. Michelle attended and we reestablished that committee and I think everybody's had a chance to look at the new art in the atrium now, so that's all good, and that is the bulk of our business. We do have another business item to take up, and that's item 7. And that is our accounts payable. That is a regular item that we look at, and I want to give the board a little bit of time and the public a little bit of time to look at all of those items before we move to accept them. Pretty much regular stuff. Remember one interesting thing. What's that one that I couldn't figure out the name? Fantasy integration. That was it. Yeah, those lights that got fixed.
No.
That's an interest, yeah, the company's name.
And it's more than just it's like a circuit too, so that was why it was so
Yeah.
expensive at the
And,
last meeting.
and
Yeah.
they're noticeable outside of the building and inside when you're driving by at night and stuff.
I just took somebody through for the first time and that's what they really mentioned so much. Oh, this is.
Is that right?
Well, it's worth money.
I do want to bring up, Long Mechanical. And there's actually a couple things in here. We had replaced the air conditioner in our file server room. In addition, there was some heat tape things that they did up on the roof, so that the $8,150 is both of those items. It ended up being a case of replacing, it ended up being, more more cost effective than trying to keep fixing it.
Very.
Yeah,
Putting them
so,
in.
yeah.
And Long Plumbing Company, is that correct?
Mhm.
We've got, so we do use them for plumbing.
Use them for
Now, do we
plumbing,
still use Richards?
We do, we use
Okay.
it.
Okay.
We had I don't remember, slow drain or something. I think something was leaking.
Most of the rest of them were ones I was familiar with when I went through this. And the fantasy, of course, is not something that we will need routinely, one hopes. But it does make a difference. It's very, an improvement. So are there any other items on here that somebody wants to raise or ask about?
I can't recall what overdrive.
That's our ebooks.
Oh, okay.
Those are
And
things
and
we,
that's something that, we get an annual bill from TLN for overdrive, but we actually pay additional money for our own overdrive collection that we purchase, and so that's what the 3,000 is.
and again, TLN is the biggest item on here, and that is really basic and comprehensive library services. So we're spending on
Yeah,
money on what
we share the collection with all of the other libraries in the library network. And that's what we pay TLN for, and the big collection, but then, so we kind of do collection development together, but then individually, our library does an additional piece where we get items that our patrons get first priority for.
Yeah,
I make a motion that we approve the accounts payable report as presented.
Second.
okay, we have a motion by Stonemeyer and support by Jackson Smith to approve the accounts payable. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed by saying no. There are no negative votes. We have approved the accounts payable and we have finished our business that we have to act upon, but our big chunk of business has to do with our director's report. She can let us know what's going on, and that's what we're gonna move on to now.
Sharon and I had a Zoom meeting with our attorney regarding the penal fines. And he basically highly recommended that it's in the best interest of all parties to work toward the settlement agreement, so that was his recommendation. He saw the benefit of having an audit conducted, and having some form of checks and balances in place to assure that the, problems don't happen in the future. I did have a Zoom meeting with library directors today to discuss this further. Nothing conclusive was really figured out at this meeting, so I don't know how useful it was, but we did discuss it. The one thing that was apparent to me is that I don't know that anybody has received any official communications yet from Wayne County about anything.
People have reached out, our Mary Jo has reached out to Wayne County, and I believe other
I reached
libraries
out
have, and they have not heard
Yeah,
back.
I did reach out specifically to the treasurer's department because I actually did a deep dive into our numbers and did find two years where there were some misstatements that from the library, from the spreadsheet that the Library of Michigan provided, that were about $16,000 to our benefit. So
That was worth looking at.
So I passed that on to the treasurer's office, and they said that they would update the spreadsheet, so.
And you recall last month, we talked about the fact that several libraries had concerns over the numbers and those, that you all have that big packet of spreadsheets. But several libraries had concerns over that. Mary Jo went through them all. I'm hoping that other libraries are thoroughly
Same thing,
looking at them, but the question of paying and adjusting this should be based on verifiable
Right.
numbers. So nothing consequential has happened. I wanted to share with you as well and add to what Mary Jo just said. Last month, we talked quite a little bit about the attorney that we were bringing in. We were pleased with Hans Renkoff. Because he has experience with libraries and he didn't seem overly interested in doing a whole lot of stuff to run up his bill. In fact, he recommended that a settlement would be the best way to go with this. He did not recommend or seek a bunch of involvement of his own, that the libraries go ahead and settle, and he would be glad to look at it for us, just to be sure that everything worked out in that. As Mary Jo just indicated, nothing yet appears to be moving so much on this, but he also indicated that he understood that there wasn't a whole lot that he understood that there's not a lot that he necessarily thinks he needs to do unless something unforeseen happens. And in that case, we will not end up spending up the entire of our retainer. There are that, you know, I felt confident that we're not gonna be running up unnecessary big legal bills. And I do think that there is gonna have to be some discussion. Joy was the one who brought it up last time about the idea that every single library getting their own lawyer might, I mean, what might that end up doing? We're not even at the point to figure out what those lawyers will be doing, and some libraries can't afford to retain a lawyer. And if we can get some good common sense answers, both mainly from the treasurer's office, there may not be a whole lot that has to be done. And some libraries may have different interests, so I at least was comfortable that we're not adding to our burden substantially in having legal counsel, and the legal counsel that we have, I think, will help us. And so to be continued.
Yep.
And we have a feeling it might be you'll be seeing this on our monthly,
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
somebody gets good sense and says.
This could be a long time.
And one would hope also, the other thing.
Yeah.
The other thing he said that kind of cooled my jets a bit, because I really feel like we didn't, and you said it's in the minutes somewhere it is, that it wasn't a problem that we made and the libraries are all paying and what's the county gonna do? But the lawyer says there really isn't any basis for us to kind of go after, or as Mary Jo put it, get a pound of flesh from the county.
Because it wasn't malicious.
Yeah,
It was
it
an accident.
was an accident, and we're willing to pay our part. It is still a good idea. Nobody has really heard if they are really gonna do the audit that we in our motion asked for and many other libraries asked for. Certainly, if there is an agreement, we're gonna wanna pay what we think is our fair amount rather than the one they presented us that is not accurate.
And like you say, you're having checks and balances for the future.
Right.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen again. That would have to be an absolute guarantee.
yeah,
This is done.
but I got kind of off of my war horse.
All right.
I'll listen to what the lawyer said.
Okay, moving on, we have a couple of incoming staff members, two new part-time library assistants, Selena Robles and Samantha Shannon, so they're training up right now, and they're quick studies, so they're learning very, very fast. Please welcome them. We are saying goodbye to full-time librarian Kelly Skinner, who is one of our adult services librarians, and she's been at the library off and on in a variety of capacities over the years for quite some time. So she has, I think she started out as a desk clerk a long time ago, was our children's librarian at one point, and is now one of our adult services librarians, so she's moving on. So we will miss her. We do have, one of our substitute librarians, Rachel Davies, who a couple of years ago, she was one of our part-time librarians and had moved on to a different library for a full-time position. It kind of stayed with us as a substitute librarian. And her job situation is changing, and so we're promoting her to full-time to take, the adult
Kelly.
services position, so we do welcome her.
I have seen a
She
lot of
teaches
these
it.
days.
She's a librarian at a college, and so she's going to be finishing out her semester before she starts full-time with us.
We have changes going.
So, and I give you a picture, is always worth 1,000 words.
I
give you a-
love this
give you a picture
picture.
of my director's report. I'm jealous of our youth services librarians. They were testing out a little book fort.
Ah, They are so fun. I spent time this afternoon in the children's area talking.
So we're having-
to the two of them.
Family fortnight this Friday from 6:30 to 8. It's after the library closes. Kids can come with their families and they hear stories and make a craft and make blanket forts. So I think they're gonna have a lot
Their
of fun.
stuffies aren't saying, spending the night this time, are they?
Not overnight.
No stuffy overnight.
No stuff the overnight this time. Classic movie night is this Thursday, at 6:30, on the town is the movie. And, our kickoff program for the Seed Library was very, very well attended at about 42 people, so we are continuing with our Seed Library programming. This Wednesday, we are having a program at 6:30 on how to start seeds for warm season crops. No, I'm sorry, wrong one. March 12th, starting seeds for early season crops. March 26th is warm season crops. So we've got a lot of programming going on.
For the seed, yeah. And we've got a lot of signage. Have we had, I wanna ask you and Nikki, if we've had a lot of patron interest, I mean, they came to the program, but have people been checking out stuff from the library?
I'm not sure, I'll have to ask, but yeah, we have gardening, it's a little bit early, so,
Yes.
yeah, we have garden implements, ready for people to check out if they want.
We got sunshine this
Yeah.
week and I'm going.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, makes
Anxious.
everybody anxious.
I'm getting
So,
all
Mary,
excited.
quick question for the family fortnight, is that kids of all ages?
Well, kids who, yeah, I mean, there's a certain point at which they're not gonna be interested in doing something like that, so I would say there's gonna be a cutoff.
Got it, okay.
Yeah, they have to be accompanied by a parent and an adult, so. Doing some programming during spring break, so I've got a lot of, activities for kids, March 24th through the 27th. We got a movie matinee. Craft-a-palooza. And we have a couple flyers in your packet regarding our, literacy tutoring, so we've got the, the English as a second language tutoring flyer,
Good.
yeah. Oh, we have another one, I don't see it.
Oh,
But yeah,
it's
if you-
family board.
If you know someone, or if you know someone who is in a position to interact with anybody who might be in need of literacy tutoring, please, contact the library and talk to us, and we can hook you up with a tutor. Give you a couple of articles to read.
Including the free. press.
The free press article, which I think everybody's probably read, about the
Thank you
kind
for,
issue. Yeah.
thank you for, sharing that with us on, email, but it's good to have the,
Yeah.
I guess this is the only kind of comprehensive written thing about this issue. So maybe it'd be worth holding on to, since it's not going away. And, that the other, was there another thing in here? The AI thing.
Yeah, I put the I article in there because this was written by Gale Company, which is they do reference resources. They're very well known in the field, databases and reference books. And I just really liked their, philosophy regarding AI. It's like only use it if it's needed. And how can it actually, use it only when it can actually help a situation, not just be using it to be using it. I also included the communication from Hoopla. And this actually is also related to AI because they've been dunking up their database, their e-content with a lot of AI generated books and materials. That people you have to wade through in order to get to real things. You know, we depend on Hoopla, they have a curated collection.
So they removed.
And yeah, that's good.
As usual, it's action-packed report from our director. And a lot of things that we ourselves can take advantage of, and certainly things that we can recommend. These early childhood pieces, I'm eager to bring the children that I know and the families I'm close to into this. And it's good that we're emphasizing reading month, and I think all of us can participate in as many ways as we can. The schools are still doing, inviting members of the community to come in and to read in the schools.
How do you sign up for that? I did it once, but I don't remember how I signed up.
I remember doing it too, and I
Yeah.
Sometimes
wonder.
they will send out invitations, so.
Yeah,
That, you couldn't do it through here. Or, I wonder, because that would be a nice thing.
So
Retired
We
people.
we could talk to the school next March about. And I'll tell them the board wants to read during reading.
Well,
The early childhood.
yeah, and the early childhood center, but, if we maybe could still reach out, I might try and call the superintendent and see. And then we can circulate to the board if we get, if
Yeah,
we.
I would be interested in that.
I haven't seen anything which makes me look at Rosemary.
They haven't put out anything that I know of. They were saying they're not having as many at the school board meeting Monday. They said they're not having as many at one time they're having. So it's like, they don't want a lot of people.
They want to spread it out a
Yeah, I
little
think
bit.
when I went, there was a bunch of people that went.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think that,
We went to
Yeah.
different classrooms.
Oh, is that
that
right?
may
Yeah.
be too disruptive.
And it might
Yeah,
take a lot of
maybe.
organizing time, so we'll see. But it would be a good thing, it is a good thing to do and a good thing to remember, and I will make a note to myself.
We had something to say.
Maybe-
Didn't make it in the director's report, but we are doing a food drive starting March 17th through April 11th. There's a box downstairs
Food drive,
for cleaners.
okay,
So I just wanted to be guys.
that's a good thing for the board to participate.
And both days again?
March 17th through the 11th, but if you got food now and you want to drop it off before the 17th.
So canned.
Canned non-perishables.
Through the 11th of April?
Yep, 11th of April.
And that's through the library network, so a lot of the libraries in the library network are participating in that.
Good.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know if I could see.
No, that's good. Yeah, thank you.
Great, great. Good community work here. Any other questions to our director? Then it is time for our board to share. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first, but you're gonna have to help me with the gentleman's name that you set me up for tech support.
Oh, Kim.
So I want to kind of give a shout out to him.
Okay.
Mary
Cam
Jo helped.
Reynolds?
Yes.
Oh, he is.
I had a little project that I was working on and I was kind of stuck. And I needed some help with some software stuff. And so I brought my laptop up here one day, with, an appointment with Cam and, he was very, very helpful. And I just wanted to, tell him thanks for helping me out. That's kind of stuck.
Cool.
And he definitely. helped.
Good. He's good.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was in PowerPoint, which is kind of an old program. And it wasn't one that he really wanted to work in too much, but he was still great. He was still very good, you know, me being old and everything, that was like the only thing I knew was PowerPoint. And so we kind of struggled through it, but he was very good. Yeah. So.
I'm finding a lot of the Gen Zs
Yeah.
don't use Office at all.
Mhm.
They're writing their essays and Google,
Yeah,
because that's what they're using, you know,
Yeah.
especially the kids in the
Yeah.
pandemic. They, I don't know how to work Word. They
Yeah.
literally do not know how
I
to
don't
work
know where to-
Hmm.
well,
It's not just PowerPoint.
Well, you know, software's gonna go and,
Yeah.
and I mean, when I was, you know, working and, you know, PowerPoint was a big thing and everybody used it. And now it seems to be kind of waning, so
Yeah,
people aren't using it as much.
but Google does
Yeah, yeah,
it. And it's free.
so anyway. that's-
Who's next? Good.
I am really excited to see John Joriga. I was thinking about you as I was headed to the building, like, oh, I miss John. So I was really surprised and happy to see you. Happy to see Barb, haven't seen you in forever, so.
It's been a
glad
cold
you made it.
winter, I know.
Yeah. Come out in the.
Icy sidewalks.
Right, I was afraid if I fell and nobody found me, that I'd be dead.
I have those thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw your little blue truck sitting out
Yeah.
there when I drove up and I was.
Very pleased, very pleased. And of course, I'm glad that Alma's here, so that, great day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a good day. And we're glad that even though Joy's not here, she's on something really good.
Yeah, good for her.
And we will have more of her time and that's gonna be very valuable for us, so.
Everybody's well and had good times.
that's- Who's next, Linda?
Yeah.
I see your mouth open.
I do well. Now, this week I brought a young woman, she's probably in her late thirties, early forties, who has lived here for a long time, transferred here for work. And she happened to work at a place that my son worked at, so we had kind of a bonding thing. And she said, I'm going to the library. She goes, I haven't been to that library yet. I said, you've lived here for 10 years and you've never been to the library. And so I brought her here and she got a library card and she loved it.
Great.
And so I was really thrilled to show it off to her, you know.
I really do still feel like
I
it's
do.
a, it's a
And
a
we just look
secret to a
around.
lot of people that live in, does
Yeah.
she live in Belleville?
She works from home. She lives in Belleville. And I
Wow.
just, you know, I don't know why she didn't know why she hadn't been here. It was just something that was on her radar, but she hadn't done it. And so I'm glad she got a library card and it was a very pleasant experience for her. So,
Well, that's a good story and it's a good thing for all of us, especially people that live north of the expressway. A lot of them, there's a lot of people in our district that have never been to our
I know,
library, and I
it's just-
think way in Sumter as well. So
Yeah.
anybody that we know or any way we can reach, I always love it when I bring somebody here for.
we
the
should
first
have,
time.
bring a friend of the library day or something like that.
Yeah.
Because
Maybe
to
our
encourage
outreach
people.
committee.
Oh,
can-
Yeah, there you go. Cause I think that, what was it, bring a kid to work day, we can
Yeah.
have, bring a friend to
Bring a
the
friend to
library
work
day.
And you know, it's with kids, because I don't know, if many of you know, I have a 4-year-old, I'm a relative caregiver to a 4-year-old.
Oh,
And,
okay.
he was actually here when.
Oh, yeah,
Swearing
that's
in,
right.
yeah, and, kids his age are really excited about, you know.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
having the lights and all that, but, you know, adults, busy adults, we need to reach that group. You know.
Yeah.
You don't
Kids are
realize, you
enthusiatic about it.
Right.
Working
don't realize
adults,
all the stuff that's here.
Well,
that they
and a
couldn't
lot
use.
of grown-ups come talking about libraries as if it's only for kids, you know?
Right.
Which is
Right, it's
silly.
not.
Or that it only has books.
Right,
yeah.
so we really need to get people there.
I was in another library yesterday and I apologize, shouldn't, you know, I feel disloyal. But they rented out, or they loaned out magnifiers, which I thought was for old person like me. It was a cool idea. I'm just throwing that out there. I want to check this out.
Well, we have to learn from other libraries.
Right.
Yeah, we'll write that down.
It was the Plymouth Library.
Okay.
Oh,
Good, people making notes. So that leaves,
well, I don't really have anything, my life isn't that exciting right now. I'm just working, but, I wasn't able to make the meeting this weekend, but I was hoping somebody would bring it up, you know,
the visioning meeting.
Yeah, did anybody? It was because of the 4-year-old, I wasn't able to make this one, but I
Yeah,
wanted to.
Sharon and Linda from the board attended. We had about 4 friends of the library
Okay. good.
members and a couple staff members.
And our
This
former
was for the
library
city, the
director.
city's visioning workshop. Yeah,
I'm having one at my house Saturday if you're
We did.
interested in going.
yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was
Really, if you wanna go.
conducted by your good friend
Julie,
Julie.
yeah, I
She
know.
was wonderful.
It was a lot of fun. It was
It was
interesting.
And that's why it was on my radar. I just wasn't able to make it.
Yeah.
We'll just sit around and talk about the city.
How
and
big was the
nature.
group that was there?
11 people.
11.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, John was
John was
here
there.
not representing the library. He was here for the city. Because John represents everything. He's our everyman.
I envisioned it would be bigger.
Is it open to?
No, it was-
Township?
No,
Yes.
I
there were
had,
people
I
from down here in
was,
there.
I think we all, several of us had the wrong idea that it was like a community-wide thing,
Yeah.
visioning about
Well, it would
Belleville.
be intimate.
But what
wasn't,
they,
yeah.
what they did, they're focusing on different,
Yeah.
sectors.
Got it.
So this was their visioning
Yeah.
with the
They
library.
reached out to the library world
Yeah.
basically to say, hey, what do you think?
So there are other opportunities, you know, as private.
And Randy's
citizens.
on city council, so.
Yeah.
We're just having our neighbors. But we can really have anybody. We only have 6 people at this point.
Oh, okay.
We were
All right.
working on a master plan for the city. We've not had a master plan for 18 years. And the last time they did it, there were 8 of us that made all these decisions. And now because of Julie Kissel,
Yeah.
we're getting organized with groups and with surveys on the internet. And it's really, really well done. We're getting feedback from everyone,
That's excellent.
a lot of good ideas.
Van Buren Township did one some years ago, which they did different ways. I don't ever remember going to a meeting for theirs, but they had, and they have quite a bit public, they had stuff.
Yeah, the
published in
planning
paper.
consultants do it for every community. So the planning consultants working here are doing the same thing and they do. And they get public input and they envisioning sessions.
We have
But
people
this
from,
one, they have little packets put together and Julie goes around and makes people take them. So she take one and one to you
yeah,
and that tells you how to have one at home, so you could, your neighbors can tell you what they want.
It was, and then it was Saturday and the sun was shining,
Yeah.
which we hadn't seen, and it was in this room and it was like,
The
Quite a
meal-
nice.
The meal was delightful.
yeah.
Mary Jo did a masterful job.
They, they,
That was from the lunchbox, so, yeah.
Okay.
they fed us, I haven't been up to, that's a good idea, the new lunchbox of the way. Alma, we are so happy to have you with us.
Just happy to be here, happy to see everyone. And thank you for your prayers.
They continue with you. Now it's time for me to, I have a couple of new things to share. And this, maybe the outreach, if we kind of rethink the outreach committee and also think about this idea of, intergovernmental and, you know, the whole community kind of thing. Just this afternoon before I came over here, I got a call from, Sabrina, Williams, or that what's Richardson, Sabrina Richardson Williams, who's on the DDA and a good friend and a longtime friend of mine. She's been talking to me for a long time. She wanted to do something with youth and get the DDA together. And this year, she seems to have it moving along in it. They're talking about, it is still tentative. So anytime you talk to somebody about it, you have to let them know it's tentative. They don't have everything settled yet. But the date there, she's working with the school and having a senior day in Belleville. A senior day in downtown Belleville, June 13th, which is the Friday, I guess, the end of the school year, from 1 to 4. And they're looking to have it out here somewhere, whether it's utilizing Main Street or just 4th Street Square and 4th Street Place near the library. They want to do it outside if they can. And
You said the 13th?
the 13th.
That's the last day of school.
Last day of school, right.
Uh,
And they are talking about all kinds of activities. And it might be something for us to be involved in. She was calling me because she wanted the library to know about it. So I said, well, this is a convenient time. I can bring it up just to let people know that tentatively this may be happening. And as they develop, they may have specific outreach that they want to make to the library. But at this point, there was nothing specific we're needing to do. And I guess the schools do these kind of things and they just haven't done it in the venue of downtown before, but they're bringing food trucks and
Oh, that's cool.
she spoke
Right.
about some kind of
Great idea.
inflatables, not the bounce house for little kids, but inflatables for.
There's some that have
older
games inside them.
Mm.
I saw them at Belleville
Mhm.
and kids can go in and play different kinds of the blow up. There's.
Are you leaving us?
Yes, thank you.
See, now he can just walk out the room whenever he feels like it. Oh, hey, John. Well, all right. He doesn't want to stay here and see how Dan has to take
Yeah, I've been
over.
trying to channel you the best I can.
I'm gonna cry if someone else says that.
We have to stare
Thanks
at it
for
for a minute to
calling.
be able to do it.
Comment.
No, we all look at Dan like this.
No, it's just that when I get to talk and John has to leave. Enough of her. The other thing, I wanted to follow up on your thing about the PowerPoint. I, sorry, people, I'm so slow in my head. Elaine, thank you. Elaine Gutierrez with the Friends. Really enjoyed the Friends meeting this year, and Elaine did a whole lot of work with it. And she had this PowerPoint she did, and she was so thrilled because what's Gwen's last name? Our Gwen on our staff.
When you ask me questions like
Oh,
that, the
see,
names
there
of the
you go.
class.
I'm so glad because I was
Right.
calling it a senior moment.
Right.
She's young and vital and it took me, and Elaine, I know as well as everything, but it still took me a little minute. Anyway, Gwen on our staff, who we might want to rethink our name. We call our after school helping staff. Their title is monitors, but they are so much more. And Gwen, I don't know if you've met Gwen, if you see her, she's a walking work of art every single day. She dresses in a way that really appeals to the young people. And she's just a fantastic kid, young woman, professional. And she did the PowerPoint and helped Elaine with it. Elaine was so happy. And I'm like you, when I was working, I did these PowerPoints, but I had staff and they did stuff. And so our library really helps people do a whole lot of things. And when you were giving that story, it made me think of
Gwen Fuller.
Yeah, Gwen Fuller. She's a joy. We have a lot of people here. They're a joy. But we kind of have to get used to new staff.
Yeah.
We're
And Gwen actually does
moving
double duty. She's also one of our library assistants now, so.
along.
Yeah.
Good. So those are my two things that I wanted to say. And I also want to say it's officially March Madness Go Green MSU.
Okay.
MSU, we're doing it. Maybe we'll make our long run this year. We haven't been to the Final Four in a bit. And I'd like
the shirts today. The final, like Michigan State shirts
Oh, do you?
in Costco. Yeah.
Oh, you saw
I
that?
saw them. I didn't-
Oh,
I saw them.
Oh, well, and Costco in Ann Arbor?
Yeah.
It's very hard for them to sell.
I
things
know.
for state.
Weird.
But yeah, we, maybe, I started to wear my MSU thing today, but you'll probably see me.
Oh, can I channel John? I mean,
Yes, you can.
I wish you were here, but
Yeah,
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we adjourn this.
you are so popular.
I will second that motion.
It's roundly seconded. Our meeting is adjourned. 1 hour.
You know, when you said senior day, I thought that was gonna be something for me.